What's good, y'all? It's crazy the difference a day makes for real. I know you seen yesterday, it was perfect. It was a beautiful day out. Today, it is definitely about to be storming. These clouds keep getting darker and darker. But I can't even lie though, I really like being out here when it's about to storm for real. Something about it. Like they say, the calm before the storm. I absolutely love it. Now let me know if you feel me on that or if I'm the only one. But it's something that's so peaceful about being out here kind of right before that storm hits. So I'll try and keep it quick today. But as I've been out here, a lot of stories have been kind of popping in my mind. And one in particular I kind of want to jump on here and share. The overarching theme that I came away with is that God will push you when you don't move, and kind of elaborate a little bit more on that too. I think it's a little bit more of a love tap. It's not like he's gonna push you or be aggressive and throw you into something that you're not ready for. I just think when you have a calling on your life and your purpose is to do something different than what you currently are doing, but you're so stuck in your ways. You might be in a place of comfortability and stability, and you don't want to branch out and do that thing that you feel God's calling you to do. You might just give you a little bit of that tap on the back, like, no, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Just to put a little context to the story, 1 year ago, and technically now 2 days, so a year and 2 days ago, I had actually, oh man, the rain's coming down. Well, to be continued. I'm gonna take y'all inside. Anywho, was really just going to jump into a quick story about some of the steps I've taken and kind of the journey that I've been on in my career up until this point. As I've been working in real estate and with mortgages for the past 5.5, 6 years. It's kind of what I jumped into fresh out of college. I got my degree in finance. Really wanted to help people out, with their finances, and wasn't quite sure how I was going to implement that. And then I got a job in real estate, realized like, wait, people's real estate investment is their biggest investment that they can make throughout their lives. So I was quickly able to kind of intertwine the two and find that purpose from really the start in my early career working in real estate. Starting kind of on the lower end of the spectrum, right, with entry level positions, no experience, and working my way up over the years, I got to a position where I was very comfortable. I was confident. I had honestly a little bit of ego, a little bit of pride associated with the work I had been doing because I've been looked up to in the workplace. So a lot of people are coming to me with questions. I'm looked at as this expert, in other words. And on top of that, the pay had been kind of scaling up as well. So I had been starting out, entry level, worked my way all the way up to where I was at. That gave me so much comfort and stability. It really put me in this place of feeling like I made it. And deep down on the inside of me, I knew that God was calling me for something bigger. Now, definitely apply this to your situation, your career, your life, wherever it may fall. But for me, I had helped hundreds and hundreds of people out with their mortgages, making dreams come true, kind of behind the scenes. I never really actually had that intimate connection because I was working on the operations side behind some keyboards and screens. And one day I was really just like had that desire and that drive to really touch my community and the people around me and be the one that hands the keys to them. God kind of placed that on my heart, and over time I realized that I was supposed to make the transition into becoming a realtor or a real estate agent, and that's where I'd actually be able to have the hands-on impact in the community and my loved ones, friends, family, strangers. Everybody I come in contact with, I can help them with, their biggest investment in their life. At the time when I first felt this calling on my life, I was so nonchalant about it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing that part-time. I'm gonna learn how to become a real estate agent. I'll start taking the classes on the side, on the weekends, I'll make it happen. I'll just kind of dabble in it for now. And main part of that is because I was so comfortable. I had such a secure position, such stability with what I was doing. And again, it felt kind of good, right? Being the guy that people go to for questions and this, senior on this pedestal. I had no experience before this, and I worked my way all the way up. But all that backstory to say, I got to a position where, the economy was dropping off a little bit. Interest rates had went up in the mortgage world, essentially meaning that, companies had started to slow down. All the hires that they made, everybody that they brought in during the times in the economic highs, had kind of started to dwindle down a little bit. And a lot of companies started making cuts. The company I was with at the time had let a few of my colleagues go and reduce some people's pay, but I was never touched. And then it got to a point where, months and months went by after things really started to slow down, and they just weren't able to keep me at the pay that I was at. They did a temporary layoff for me literally a year ago. Like I said, a year and 2 days ago to this day. It really didn't affect me as much as you would think. A layoff, to me, I was like, okay, God, you really want me to take this step already. You want me to actually dive into the purpose and the calling that you have for my life. You don't want me to keep just going to work every day, working this comfortable and stable job. I guess stable is the wrong term because so it was a Monday when I got laid off, and they told me it was temporary. They're gonna bring me back on, a month and a half, 2 months later. They just had to kind of rework some things, adjust the budget, and then they were gonna start picking business back up. So with that in mind, I jumped straight into it. It was Monday I got let go. By that Thursday, I had already started taking coursework for the real estate agent license. And realistically, it was such an easy process to start. And yeah, the course was a lot of work. It took me a lot of time to eventually complete, almost 6 months later. But to this day, I thank God for that layoff and the opportunity that he gave me to kind of push me out of that comfort zone and stability into what he was actually wanting me to do with my life, the purpose and the meaning that he had placed for me. I like to say to myself that, yeah, I would have eventually started the classwork. I would have become an agent on the side. I would have done this, I would have done that. But I was so deep into that comfort zone that I was really just letting time by in terms of the call that God had on my life. I wasn't jumping on it when I found out. I just let it sit on the back burner. Like, yeah, eventually it'll happen. That turns into, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next month. Months turn into years, and time would just keep going by. Maybe your ego's getting touched a little bit. Maybe you're prideful and you're up on a pedestal at your current position or doing what you're doing, but you know that there's something deeper for you. Would I have preferred to actually start the real estate agent coursework on my own time instead of God's time? Absolutely. Would I like to have known that maybe I could have budgeted a little bit differently with those last few checks before I got laid off to kind of set myself up and propel me forward into that next stage? Absolutely. But all that to say, who knows, if I had actually listened to God's call of my life when he put it on my heart, which was a good year and a half, almost 2 years before I actually started the classwork. I knew what I was doing with my career was good because I was able to learn more and eventually apply that knowledge today where I'm at now. But transparently, I didn't answer that call when he had placed it on my heart. I kind of snoozed it. And so my encouragement and hope for you guys today is really just to reflect. Look in the mirror, sit down, think about where you're at and eventually where you want to be in your life, in your career, with your relationships. This applies to every facet of your life. Something I had to pray a lot for as well during that time period was clarity. I had a feeling I knew what God was calling me to do, but of course I have those doubts in my mind. I kept second guessing it. I had thoughts of even completely changing trajectories in my industry. Like I was like, man, okay, clearly God, you don't want me working in real estate anymore. You want me to do something else. So yeah, that thought came, I prayed about it, and then I got rerouted right back in line. Don't expect it to just be this one day, everything makes sense, I can see exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do. No, it's a journey. It'll take time if you're not quite there yet. But also, if you know what God's calling you to do, it's time to act on it. The time is now. I heard a statistic yesterday that 76% of people have the same regret when they're on their deathbed, living their last days, breathing their last breaths. The number one regret that they have is what they did not do on this earth. It's not what they did do. It's not the things that they accomplished, their careers, their families, their friends, everything that they did, the experiences they had. They're regretting the stuff that they didn't do. In other words, they might have had a calling to do something greater or bigger, but never stepped out, never actually took that step to do what that greater calling is on their life. And then they end up regretting it. I don't want that to be me. I definitely don't want that to be you. So make the most out of every single day. And we're going to look back at the end of our lives and not have any regrets. That's all for now. I appreciate you guys tapping in. I hope you stay blessed and y'all be easy. Until next time.